YouTube, heir of Clan Carthage here, with Clan Angron, and I did a poll on Twitter and asked you all which difficult to use unit you wanted to see me try and use, and Trollhammer Torpedo won the vote. If you all enjoy this, I'll do another one. I'll put another poll up on, well, I can put the poll up on here and on Twitter. I say that, yeah, I can put a poll up on this video, so look for the poll in this video, and then I'll put one on Twitter also. I know not all of you have Twitter, but if you do follow there, it's easier for me to do stuff there on the run, because it's not easy to put polls up on YouTube on the run when I'm at work and stuff. So I've got a Clan Angron army here that's a lot of Dwarf Warriors. Well, I say that. Let's take an exact look. So I've got one Grudge Thrower, because I knew I needed some long range, because my enemy might use it. I've got the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass and some Longbeards up front, and we're going to be facing off against the Greenskins. I've got a couple units of Rangers just to get some some skirmish fire capability to help protect the Trollhammers. And then I've got Dwarf Warriors and some Dragonback Slayers in the back. My leadership is a Rune Lord, and then we've got King Lun Ironhammer, and I can't remember the name of the Runesmith. I think it's, yeah, Throny Ironbrow. So I actually tried this in a battle just before this, and I forgot to save the dang replay. I went right into this next battle, and in the first battle, when I tried something similar to this, my opponent picked the Greenskins, and I was like, oh, I'll take Clan Angron. About the only thing he can do against my ethereal units is to bring Azag and Spirit Leech, and that would be his only good strategy. Well, that's exactly what he brought, and I got absolutely nuked by Azag's Spirit Leech because it works extremely good. Now, what you could do as the dwarfs to be tricky is pick Clan Angron to make the Greenskin player think you're going to bring the ethereal units, and then rather than doing so, you could have brought a whole bunch of gyrocopters and really screwed over Azag, because then he would have been faced like with no other aerial support against all the gyrocopters. So that would have been the smarter thing for me to do, but my goal was to use Trollhammer Torpedos, and I wasn't real focused on the gyrocopters. So yeah, in any case, I got absolutely nuked by that Greenskin build. I put up the best fight I could, but I got pretty soundly defeated. So this one I changed a few things. I had my front line. I didn't worry about armor piercing or anything else like that. I just wanted units to hold. So Longbeards, and then the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Figured these guys can hold as good as anything, especially with the support of the Rune Lord and Throny, however you say it, and King Lun. So since this Greenskin army doesn't have any magic damage, they are going to be hard-pressed to destroy those ethereal units, and in this case, I don't think the Greenskin army was very well chosen. I'm going to cover why. This is all about the Trollhammer Torpedoes, and we'll see them in use, and I brought them hoping that my opponent would bring something like the Arachnarok, and he did. But my opponent's army is very odd indeed. It's a bunch of Savage Orc Biggins, which are pretty decent units, but against large units. And they're not good against armor, so they're a poor pick against dwarves. And then my opponent has a whole bunch of Gobbo Archers, which are very short range, very weak archers. And then he's got, yeah, that's it. And his lord is Grimgore. I'm not opposed to Grimgore being brought against the dwarves. And then he's got the Arachnarok Spider in the back. I've already routed his Hammer of Gork twice, and I'm now using my Goblobber to cause some damage. You can see my Rangers are going to open fire. I'm going to use my two ethereal units to charge in, and since he doesn't have any magic damage, I can basically pin down a couple of the units up front for him and ruin his charge, which Savage Orcs like. I'm using a little bit of Wrath and Ruin here with Throny, and then I'm going to bring my main line charging into the Greenskins rather than just sitting and taking it. So here comes the charge, and you can see my ethereal units completely block the charge of these two Savage Orcs, which is one of their big advantages. And then here comes the Rune Lord in here. We've already actually scared away a unit of Savage Orcs. It got terrified. Now, they are immune to psychology if I think they're in a certain position with their leadership. So, yeah, only if they're in a certain position with their leadership is the way I understand it. Because that one got terrified. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it has to do... I don't know exactly how it works, to be honest. Anyway, my Trollhammer Torpedoes, that's the focus here. You can see them hitting. So what are Trollhammer Torpedoes good for? They're armor piercing. They're extremely damaging to large units or flyers. You can see them firing from back here, and you'll see them like scooting through the air. They will do a ton of damage to something like the Spider, but why don't you see people use them? So, I mean, there's a couple of good volleys that got in. You can see the Spider is taking heavy damage, and it's already wavering. So they're really, really good at what they do. The problem is that this unit is very well armored, but it's not shielded. It's slow. It's low in numbers. So it's going to take more than 1 or 2 volleys, and then something like this will happen. And I do manage to get in and slow down the Ragnarok. But see, it still gets to my guys. So if my opponent had brought the Ragnarok Queen, he would have just had spiderlings all over me, and that's exactly what happened in the first match. I didn't even get a shot at the Ragnarok Queen. Just absolutely wrecked. And chariots and ethereal units is what my first opponent used, and it was very difficult to deal with. 2 big weaknesses for the dwarves. So again, though, you can see if the Trollhammer Torpedoes get a few shots, they're devastating. And they can do a ton of damage. See him, they're driving the spider out further. So the Ragnarok spider's gone, and then it was just a matter of me mopping up everything else. But this battle was pretty much done whenever my opponent made the Savage Orc pick. Not a good pick versus Greenskin. So if you're a new player, don't do it. Gobbo archers are decent at poisoning things, but they don't do a lot of damage to armored units, and they're really only useful for that poison. And they are very weak to dwarf skirmishers. Dwarf skirmishers cause more damage and have longer range. And when you get blobbed up like this, if rangers start see, look how quick these gobbos fall apart when they come under ranger fire. And these are rangers, not quarrelers. So rangers are just about the same in terms of their melee damage, but quarrelers have shields and better armor. So yeah, you can see how quick these guys get ripped up. That's the rusty arrows. They're getting torn up. And the Gobbo archers here, just look at the stats. There's just not any kills. So just don't use them is the best lesson. Don't use them. Here comes another salvo of Trollhammer Torpedoes. That time it was a miss, but there you go. The Trollhammer Torpedo. Like I said, what's it good for? I mean, if an opponent, and I wouldn't recommend it in multiplayer. I would say it's mostly a tool for campaign. And it's because in multiplayer, it's just too easy to stop the Trollhammer Torpedo. I had to play a couple of matches before I even got some successful footage with it, you know, after having gotten wrecked a couple of times, trying to get other footage. I mean, I can just give you a quick demonstration. If this were campaign, where money was not as big a factor, and let's say that I could have an army like this. So again, this is just going to be more informational here. So let's throw some Longbeards in so that I actually have a protection line. We'll throw some other stuff, and let's say that that the vampire counts came after me, and they were going to have a vampire lord up on a dragon, or let's even go Manfred, and we'll put him up on a zombie dragon. I'll even let him have all his. I won't give him all his spells, but let's give him his. We'll just give him all his spells, whatever. We'll give him the best chance. I don't know what the AI is going to do with all these spells. Let's take away some of the ones that we know they shouldn't want to use. Let's take away Spirit Leech, or they'll waste it all on that. Give him Fate of Buna. Leave Soul Blight, Fate of Buna, Invocation. We don't need Dance Macabre, that's a waste. Take that one away. Okay, I've left him some spells, some legitimate spells. We'll give him the Sword of Unholy Power. So let's say that we're up against Manfred in the campaign. He's got the dragon, and let's say he's got a line of Grave Guard for his infantry. That's what's going to go up against my Longbeards. And let's say that, you know, they have a Vargolf, or even a Mortis Engine maybe. So a couple of large targets for me to go after with my Trollhammer Torpedoes. And let's just kind of watch what can be done. You know, again, this is a what-if scenario. In terms of if you're in a campaign, I know I didn't give the vampires a very big army. That's on purpose. This is just more to demonstrate how much damage Trollhammer Torpedoes can cause to large targets. But even the AI, the things you'll have to be careful of is up against certain factions, the AI will field a lot of chariots against you, and they will make your life miserable with the chariots. They can pull through you over and over and over again, and will. And you'll have to watch out for keeping your Trollhammer Torpedo safe. There are zombie summons that you're going to have to watch out for, so start the battle and fast forward. I just want to show you how quickly you can nuke an enemy lord or monster with these Trollhammer Torpedoes, though. So I've brought a little bit of protection so that the Trollhammers can get their work done. And again, the Trollhammer Torpedoes are mostly good against armor piercing, but anything large, they should do Wind of Death right through the center of me. Alright, whatever. You can see Wind of Death not near as effective against air whenever it's the AI. Otherwise, it works quite well. Okay, the vampires are coming. Let's just try and tie everything down. Longbeards are not going to be bothered by psychology. Okay, see, look at that right there. The Trollhammer Torpedoes got a volley off, and Manfred's almost completely dead. Look how quick he dies. So this is why I say they're a good tool for campaign. I'm going to give an attack order here. So you can nuke an enemy lord in moments with the Trollhammer Torpedoes. See, Manfred is doing the right thing here. He's summoning up the zombies. And now my Trollhammer Torpedoes are caught in combat. So see, the AI can do this to you. They are capable of it. But all you gotta do is just do a little bit of work here. Get your Trollhammers away from that fight. And now we're good to go nuke another enemy monster. While our Slayers clean up the zombie mess that Manfred left, like zombie diarrhea. Okay, Manfred came back. Let's nuke him. So let's just see. You just need one quick volley. He's goner. So Manfred's dead. And that's how quick it can happen. So that's what Trollhammer Torpedoes are good for, in my mind. They don't really serve a lot of purpose in multiplayer because you're going to really struggle to protect them. It's going to take an opponent who's really not paying attention in order for them to be successful. Otherwise, it's really just way too easy to stop them, especially considering their cost. But again, if you get into a situation where cost is no longer the deciding factor, the Trollhammer Torpedoes are quite good. Again, look at the leadership hit they just put on this. Vargulfs don't have a lot of leadership to begin with. The Vargulf a little bit harder to hit, but you saw how Manfred, that huge flyer with a large hitbox, even the Vargulf, look at that, just gets absolutely nuked. So hopefully this is giving you an idea of what they're good for. They're good against cavalry, if you can hit the cavalry too. So it doesn't have to be just monsters. They can certainly deal out a lot of damage to heavily armored cavalry. I'll just give you a couple more demonstrations here. So we're going to nuke the Vargulf. You see they're not super accurate either. So again, the bigger the hitbox on the creature, the better chance you stand of doing anything to it. And when they're on the move, you're probably less likely to land a good hit. See that every time he charges and moves, we're missing him. So again, that's another reason why it's hard for you to actually land any real damage there. So we got rid of the Vargulf. The good thing about Trollhammer Torpedoes is they rarely get blocked, so they can usually fire under most circumstances, which makes them much more valuable. Okay, the Claw of Nagash is headed up. Let's see how well it works on it. Again, remember, typically good against armored units, but we'll give this a shot. So let's see how well they can take out the... Yeah, Claw of Nagash has a huge hitbox. Look at that. Just absolutely destroyed it. Yeah, so the bigger the hitbox, the better, because then the accuracy of them doesn't matter as much. So there you go. That's what Trollhammer Torpedoes are good for. Again, don't expect to do a whole lot with these guys in multiplayer. You may get the odd and end match where you're able to do something with them like I did, but in any real competitive type of atmosphere, they're just going to get wrecked. So that's what they're good for. Definitely recommend them in campaign. In fact, while we're on the subject of Trollhammer Torpedoes, let's talk about the other Iron Drakes just real quick as well, since I have a moment. So let's get in Dwarfs. We'll pick another just generic army here. So let's get the standard Iron Drakes. So what are standard Iron Drakes good at? So that's a great question. So these guys have a purpose too, and I actually find, once again, in campaign, they can be pretty useful. In multiplayer, I find that they're much more questionable. These guys cost almost as much as the Trollhammer Torpedoes, and are even less flexible in what they're good at. They're only good against unarmored units. So anything unarmored will suffer greatly, and especially if that particular unit is vulnerable to fire damage. So anything with regenerate is vulnerable to fire damage, and as are crypt horrors. So let me give you a quick example. So let's throw a couple of crypt horrors in there, and let's come back over, make sure I got a couple of slayers to help me out, because even for demonstrative purposes, the AI could potentially overrun me here. There we go. 1825. I think the vampires have actually spent more here. They have. All right, so let's just, again, do another quick demonstration. Let's pick a different map, because this one's stupid. I don't like the snow maps. You can't see anything very good. Just go here. Alright, so we're going to start the battle. Vampires still have their army. Yeah, so let me show you. So the standard Iron Drakes, again, fire damage. They're good against stuff without armor. So like the Graveguard that have armor, yeah, the Iron Drakes aren't going to do all that good. Now if you can get completely to their flank, they'll be fairly useful, but a unit like, say, Crypt Ghouls, or Zombies, or Skeletons, or anything with low armor, Orc Boys, Savage Orcs, trying to think of Wolf units, because they don't have much armor. I mean, just about anything you can think of that's low armor, these guys are good against it. Trolls, the unarmored variety, Crypt Horrors, anything that has regenerate, they're even more effective against. So let's fast forward. Oh, I forgot I left Manfred on his zombie dragon again. That's not good, because he's just going to come straight at my my Trollhammers, or my Iron Drakes. So I'm going to put the Slayers here to guard the against the Iron Drakes. Here comes the Wind of Death again. Manny likes his Wind of Death, even though he doesn't know how to use it. Let's hit play. Our Iron Drakes are going to try and roast Manfred, but it won't do much. See, his armor keeps him safe. Let's back up. And let's bring our Slayers in to keep Manfred busy. Now watch what happens when I hit the Crypt Horrors. This is the key. So see the Crypt Horrors here, quite healthy. I can stand back. Again, though, you don't want to use this against a player because they know how to summon dead on you. Watch what happens. The Crypt Horrors just get hosed in flame, and you can see that it does immense damage to the Crypt Horrors. Now, you could do the same thing with Quarrelers, and Quarrelers would have more usefulness beyond this, but this is a lot more fun. I mean, just look at the fire damage. I mean, who doesn't enjoy that? So, I mean, a couple of volleys, and we've roasted one unit of Crypt Horrors for the most part. The other one's starting to crumble, too. So, again, unarmored, especially if the unit says regenerate on it, that's what's going to make your Iron Drakes very good against a particular unit. Alright, so let's watch what they do to a Vargulf. It's another good example. I'm going to get them to fire at the Vargulf. Don't fire at will, you fire at what I tell you to. Use some Fate of Buna over here. That'll actually be pretty effective. So yeah, the Vargulf, it's taking a little longer for whatever reason. I don't know if it's to do with, you know, only one unit model or change in hitbox or what, but you can see the Vargulf should be a good target for it, but it's not doing a whole lot. I find him to be much better versus Crypt Horrors. Let's see how long it takes to get rid of the Vargulf. There's a very good shot on the Vargulf. Now we can actually see a pretty good drop. I guess they were just a little bit too far away to get a very effective shot. Because right there they got a really good shot on the Vargulf. And then they're going to get another pretty nice one right there. Yeah, when they all connect like that, the damage is pretty absurd. So that Vargulf's a goner. He's disintegrating. Here comes another round, point blank. Not as much damage as you would expect, honestly, right there. Let's watch if we get the Crypt Horrors. I'm actually kind of impressed. The Crypt Horrors, on the other hand, seem to take considerably more damage. It may just be that the Vargulf has the higher hit points. Yeah. Anyway, that's what the regular Iron Drakes. Like I said, the other use for these guys is if you're fighting against low armor factions, get these guys on the flank like Beastmen or something like that. Put them on a flank and just let them turn on the gas. And they will absolutely roast enemy infantry if they get onto the flank. So they can be quite good against infantry. I've gotten hundreds of kills before in campaign battles with the Iron Drakes. So yeah, there you go. Dwarf Iron Drakes, great for campaign, not so good for multiplayer. They can be a fun pick in multiplayer, and when you do make them work, it will be a very satisfying experience, but a very rare experience. If you think I'm wrong, feel free to let me know. I already had one person on Twitter try and tell me that Trollhammer Torpedos are easy to use. I highly disagree if you're going against a somewhat skilled player, but that's just my thoughts. I'd be curious to see what you think. So, hope y'all enjoyed it. Appreciate MSI sponsoring the channel. Appreciate you, my awesome viewers, being here. If you want to subscribe, I got the button down in the bottom right-hand corner. It's my logo. Click it, and you'll be the first to know about new videos. And I hope to see you on the battlegrounds of Total War Warhammer soon. HeirofCarthage, signing out.